Minimalism is trendy. Actually, maximalism is trendy too. Okay, hang on a minute. There's tennis core, dream core, clown core, fairy core, gorb core, globin core, cottage core, cord core, Barbie core, and core core. Just add core to any word and boom, a new trend is born. Is anyone else getting a little bit fatigued from trend cycles like me? They've accelerated to a point where there is a new item trending on social media every single day. We all get sucked into the vortex of consumerism. So time for your trend analyst to weigh in again. The idea is to make another video to go through all the fashion trends Emma Chamberlain mentioned in her podcast and predict their fate going forward. Disclaimer, I'm not trying to bash anyone for participating in any trend. Feel free to disagree with me in the comment section. Now let's see which trend you should invest in or completely skip. Let the ultimate showdown of trendy versus timeless begin. Ding ding ding! 1. Ballet flats. She thinks ballet flats are timeless, but the whole ballet aesthetics, leg warmers and stuff is trendy. I'm sorry, but I think they're just straight up trendy. Ballet flats aren't the most flattering shoes. The silhouette of the shoe is super flat and the straps cut your legs off visually and make most people appear to be shorter than they are. If you want to participate in this trend, I would invest in a pair with a boxier front so they don't hug too close to your feet and make them look too small. The trick is to avoid looking too dainty at the bottom so you don't appear to be top heavy and disproportional. 2. Mini scarves. Emma thinks they're trendy and I totally agree. For a fashion item to be timeless, I think they need to be functional. A tiny piece of fabric around your neck that doesn't actually keep you warm, to me, is purely an adornment. I do like the daintiness, but I think the look is quite limiting. It requires a lot of styling effort to make it work. You have to either lean right into that 70s headband, cardigan kind of vibe, or you have to go on the other side of the spectrum and wear them in an avant-garde runway kind of style. Anything in between just doesn't really work in my opinion. 3. Excessive layering. Emma thinks it's timeless when it's done right. I think layering is always timeless, but excessive layering? Trendy. I think in theory, it looks incredible when someone layers up to the hills because it creates more visual interest in an outfit. But in reality, most people that look good in excessive layering are either real tall, slim, or both. I do think there's a way to make it work for those who aren't built with a runway figure, but I think it's incredibly hard to get the proportions right. You almost have to go ham on the layering and do it like the Harajuku street fashion style. It's completely over the top and so exaggerated, but you can see how it starts to look cool no matter what body shape you have. I think excessive layering is for fashion masters. When in doubt, it's good to stick to the 3-layer principle. For example, a base layer like a shirt or a fitted top, then something a little looser like a sleeveless cardigan or a sweatshirt, and finally outerwear like a trench coat or a jacket. 4. Skirts or dresses over pants. I remember this being a thing when I was like 12. Emma loves this look and thinks it adds dimension to an outfit. However, she does think it's a little trendy because it's totally unnecessary, and I tend to agree. I reckon mini skirts over pants, that look is just a little overdone, and I feel like we might cringe at it in a year or two. If you want to participate in this trend but don't want to go full out, I would say invest in a tunic or a shirt dress over pants. Those items are timeless and they can be worn separately when this whole look goes completely out of trend. 5. Unnecessary belts. I think the desire of putting together an outfit by slapping on as many pieces of clothing item as you can, it's in itself trendy. It does look very cute when it's done right, but not many people can master that full-blown maximalist avant-garde style. I think this trend is for the people that are on the advanced level. If you don't find the right belts with the right textures that go with your outfit, it just looks unnecessarily busy and heavy. I'd suggest investing in a single chunky belt with excessive detailing to make your outfit look more interesting. It helps cinch the waistline and it's a statement accessory that can stand the test of time. 6. Neckties. I love the gender neutral aesthetics, but neckties? For me, they are giving 2002 Veronicas or that Russian girl group tattoo. I'm just not sure about the fashion in that era. Emma thinks neckties will become a timeless staple because collectively we've found a way to wear them in a casual, unconventional way, say with a tank top and a jacket. I think a necktie itself is completely timeless because it's functional. It will always have a place in the business setting, but the way we're styling it right now is a little trendy. If you want to participate in this trend, I would actually opt for a simple black velvety choker. It's just more versatile and you can layer it with other necklaces when the whole necktie thing goes out of trend. 7. Metallic. Emma reckons when metallic is done in a non-flashy, classy way, it becomes timeless. She thinks rhinestones and sequins are trendy. They are very difficult to style and they can look a little excessive. I 100% agree with her. In my opinion, metallic itself is absolutely timeless, especially silver. It's basically a shiny white. It's a shade, not a color, so you can style it easily. It adds dimension and textures to an outfit without looking too overwhelming. Rhinestones and sequins, on the other hand, they give off a red carpety vibe and they just look too flashy. Nailing the metallic trend could be quite tricky because the quality of the material really matters. If the quality is not refined and the make is quite flimsy, it instantly looks cheap and tacky. If you want to participate in the trend without going all out, I would suggest investing in an item with a more matte finish over the full chrome look. I would invest in metallic accessories rather than metallic clothing. Maybe a pair of silver boots or a gold statement bag or a belt. Things to make your outfit pop and give it a high fashion edge rather than a high street look. 8. Baggy on baggy. Totally on Emma's wavelength for this one. I love this trend and I think we should just all join forces and make this timeless, please. I know I've made videos in the past that talk about the styling technique of biggie smalls, i.e. big top paired with a small bottom, or the other way around, small top, big bottom. The theory is not wrong and I still stick by it because it does balance out an outfit and make it look more put together. But I think collectively we've found a way to wear baggy on baggy without looking sloppy. It's cute, it's less stuffy and tight overall, and it's got a cool, carefree aesthetic. Most importantly, it's bloody comfortable. The trick is to make sure the fit is right. It's not a simple, let's just go a couple of sizes up. Say an oversized blazer. It's made to have a boxy silhouette, but the length of the sleeves shouldn't completely cover your hands. If you have a bit of spare cash, I would suggest getting your items altered. Take the overly long sleeves up a little bit so they're just covering half of your hands. Trim your pants a little so they just slightly bunch up above your shoes, but they don't completely drag on the floor. Or for the budget-friendly option, you can just simply pin or fold your pants up and roll your sleeves up. 9. Athletic sneakers with dainty skirts. Emma reckons it's very 2020. I absolutely agree. On their own, both items are timeless, but it's the pairing that is trendy. Athletic sneakers paired with jeans, timeless. Flowy skirts paired with loafers, timeless. Athletic sneakers paired with dainty flowy skirts, trendy. I reckon this look is already slightly falling out of trend, and I just feel like there's this mainstream, very high street vibe about the whole look. It feels sort of, like how Kmart would dress their mannequins. Remember, this whole video is just my personal take. If you're a big fan of this trend and you want to keep rocking it, I would suggest adding a pair of socks to the outfit. It automatically looks a bit more stylish, and I think it creates a seamless connection between the skirt and the sneakers. Alternatively, I would swap out the sneakers for a pair of mules. They are still relatively comfortable, but they look a lot more chic. Unless like you're going for a walk at lunchtime and you just changed out of your heels into sneakers. 10. Motorcycle boots. Emma thinks motorcycle boots themselves are timeless, but how we're styling them gives off a trendy vibe. Like back in 2008 when her mum styled them with an Ed Hardy top and a pair of skinny jeans. The boots themselves clearly transcends time, but all those looks feel so stuck in a particular era. In 2023, I see people styling them with a flowy midi skirt and the boots almost connect all the way up to the edge of the skirt, or they would wear them with bike shorts. I personally really like the chunkier silhouette. The silver hardware also adds a bit more edge than a normal plain pair of black boots, but I think the chunkier silhouette is also why they are harder to style. The outfit could easily look a little too bottom heavy. If you still want to participate in this trend, I would actually opt for a pair of plain long black boots instead, something with a more streamlined silhouette and less silver hardware. You'll get more wear out of them. 11. Leopard print. Emma thinks the whole leopard print thing is just trendy. It doesn't work for her because it feels kind of cheap. I actually think leopard print itself is kind of timeless because it's been around for like forever. The rich and famous used to wear fur and animal skin back when it was still okay. And now people just opt for the vegan option, which is absolutely the right thing to do. But because it's trying to be something that it isn't, it's got a cheap synthetic look to it. I think certain groups of people will keep rocking it because that's just what they like. But for me, I'm sorry, it's got a real Tiger King vibe and it's a little cringy for me. Of course, I'm a big believer in people rocking whatever they want and however they want. But personally, I think if a look is too themed or just limited to a specific group of people in the society, I can't call it timeless because it's just there. It can't be a classic. If you still want to participate in this trend, I would suggest investing in a silk leopard print blouse, an understated fashion item but made from a classy material. Just don't go for a head to toe look or anything bodycon, please. The print itself, it's already a statement. Less is more. 12. Knee-length shorts with boots. Emma absolutely loves this look because it doesn't feel too exposed, and she's just glad that the short shorts aren't too trendy anymore. I have to agree with that 110%. I reckon knee-length shorts are timeless, but gosh, they're hard to pull off, especially for short queens like myself. You really need to pay attention to how they fit. Tip number 1, don't go for something too low-waisted. If you have short legs, bringing your waistline further down will actually throw your whole proportion off balance, making your frame look even shorter. Tip number 2, they cannot be too hugging. Let's not dress like the Kardashians in 2017. If you want to participate in this trend, I would suggest going for something with a wider cut at the knees, so it's got a more streamlined A-line look and it feels a bit more high fashion. And with boots, please go for a long boot, something close to knee length. Short boots with knee-length shorts just doesn't look as chic. If it's too hot and you can't wear them with knee-high boots, just throw on a pair of Adidas Sambas like everyone else and some cute white socks. 13. Platform Uggs. Emma thinks Uggs are cute, effective and timeless, but platform Uggs, we're gonna cringe at them in a year. Honestly, I don't know how they just blew up on TikTok in a second and now everyone wants a pair. I agree with Emma. I think this trend will get tired real soon. I know platforms are trending right now, but I feel like at this point we're just adding platforms to everything. Platform Mary Janes, platform Oxfords, platform mules, platform heels, boots. The issue with platform Uggs lies in their silhouette. Uggs are already super chunky shoes, and when you add platforms to them, they automatically look a little clownish and too distinct to be timeless. If you want to invest in some, honestly, I would just go for the classic short Ugg. They're classic, they're comfortable, they're inoffensive, and honestly, they'll still go with everything when this whole platform thing falls out of trend. 14. Trench coat. I don't even know why we're talking about this. Of course, trench coats are timeless. Have you noticed the explosion of trench coats lately? They're popping up at fashion weeks left and right. It's like they're the hottest thing in town. But here's the thing, they've always been a classic piece of clothing. You throw on a trench coat and bam, instant outfit upgrade. Even if you're just rocking jeans and t-shirt, a trench coat can literally elevate any outfit. It's synonymous with sophistication and class. If you don't have a trench coat in your wardrobe, I highly recommend investing in one. It's a must-have. A killer trench coat will become your wardrobe staple. 15. Capris. Me and capris, we're just not meant to be. Emma thinks they're all the rage and I'm nodding in agreement. Yep, absolutely trendy. Okay, let's be real. They are just way too hard to pull off. I've seen fashion girls rocking them amazingly, but to me, they just bring back memories of Christina Aguilera in early 2000s. Capris have this magical ability to just chop off your legs at mid-calf. They shorten your leg line, not exactly the most flattering look, especially if you're on the petite side. If you're itching to hop on this trend, I would suggest going for a pair of Bermuda shorts or some culottes instead. They've got a more relaxed silhouette and they just don't scream awkwardly. Quick fire footwear trendy versus timeless. Adidas Sambas or Adidas Sambas? Sorry, that's how we say Adidas in New Zealand. Honestly, I'ma just yeet my phone into the bin if I see one more pair of Sambas on my TikTok feed. Don't get me wrong, Sambas are cool kicks. They've got that perfect blend of looking relaxed but also refined. But let's be honest, I think they're completely overhyped and the silhouette of the shoe is just too flat. Not the most flattering shoe for petite folks like myself or people with larger calves. I'm not saying they will disappear off the fashion radar completely, but they are definitely trendy. Nike Dunk Low. Everyone and their grandma is rocking Dunk Lows because of TikTok and social media. It's like they've been gentrified. It must be kind of a bummer for die-hard sneakerheads that have been rocking them for decades. I tried them on at a shop once and they honestly don't look good on my tiny feet. They make my feet super tiny and out of proportion to the rest of my body, giving off a super top-heavy vibe. I would honestly just go for a pair of Air Force Ones instead. The style is super similar to Dunk Lows, but it's got a little bit more height and a chunkier silhouette, which works better for short queens like me. Birkenstock's Boston clogs. For me, the Bostons look way more classier than their sandals, and the shoe itself could be timeless, but the way everyone's styling them is kind of trendy. A lot of people are wearing them with shorts and socks. The clown-like silhouette could potentially make the shoe look unflattering on shorter figures, especially when you style them with socks because they further visually chop up your leg line. I do think they can be timeless, just wear them as a slipper without socks. Another thing is, I've come across some reviews that mentioned how they're not as comfortable as they look. I'd opt for a pair of slip-on Uggs or some classic short Uggs for a similar aesthetic, but they'll be way more comfortable. Sorry, I was losing daylight, so I have to move location. Anyway, moving on. A lot of fashion TikTokers are suggesting the Onitsuka Tiger Mexico 66 as an alternative to the Sambas, because the Sambas are so overhyped and the Onitsuka Tiger is way more underground and way less trendy. Ironically, they end up hyping these shoes to the point where they become trendy. The flat silhouette like Sambas isn't flattering for people with short legs. Straight up trendy. Saucony Progrit Triumph 4. I'm not sure when this trend started, but proper running shoes are now hype sneakers. It's fashion to wear running shoes. I find it hilarious, but I also kind of dig this trend because running shoes have amazing cushioning and they are so comfortable. I do think the Progrit Triumph 4 is a perfect sneaker for Gorpcore fans and they are just a great looking sneaker. I'd recommend investing in a pair of all black or the white and silver colorway just to make them feel a bit less trendy. If you want to jump on the running shoe trend, but you want something a little more versatile, I would suggest buying a pair of New Balance 530. They are lightweight, they're super comfortable, and they're absolutely timeless. Corals. I don't personally own a pair, but I wish I do because they're incredibly cute and classic. They just exude that French girl vibe, effortlessly cool but not trying too hard. In my opinion, the Corral shoes are actually great timeless alternatives to ballet flats. They are equally elegant, but the addition of the little block heel makes the Corral look a lot more flattering. When I have extra cash, which might never happen, I would love to invest in a pair of Corals in black or the classic red. You can pair them with anything. Jeans, trousers, I think they look mega cute with shorts or skirts, especially when you style them with a pair of socks. Absolutely timeless. So, which trend was your favorite? In summary, if something is a little gimmicky or way too hyped or way too themed, it's usually trendy. On the other hand, when something is functional and a little understated, it tends to be timeless. Whether you agree with my perspectives or you completely disagree or you have a different theory, please leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you guys. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so the algorithm will bring you back for more. And please help me hit 5,000 subs. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.